by 90% of them are guarded by an Israeli security company called Magal, Magal. That company is now pushing to take control of the water supply systems in most cities in the United States of America right now. And of course, we do know of the company Bechtel, Bechdtel, that former Secretary of State George Shultz was the head of and still is a part of and on the board. And they've gone into many African countries and third world countries and even inner cities of America as well, and is getting control in terms of privatizing their water supply system. So we're in a fight on all levels. But thoughts and comments on what you just heard from that smooth criminal down there in City Hall?
Well,
shrewd criminal, should I say. And we coming to the lines. You can get in on the conversation.
The mayor
410-761-1592. Please continue,
the mayor
my brother.
says, I expect there to be unrest.
That's right. Listen to what she's saying.
There to be
That's
unrest.
right. That's right.
So she expects for you to get upset. She expects for you to get out on the streets to
That's right.
whatever we're going to do, right?
Right.
And see, here's the thing. A person in that position of leadership should not expect a negative outcome.
Yeah, but listen to what she's saying.
Let's talk about the solutions. Let's talk about what we're going to do so that there is not an unrest.
Right. That's right. Right. Maybe perhaps she wants unrest, or maybe she knows there are those behind the scenes that's working for her to foment unrest so they can come in and lock the city down or lock as many of these residents down, as opposed to, again, saying it's not right. So we have to be willing to use those 5 ingredients of education, the communication, litigation, and legislation in terms of, again, NAACP, Urban League, these fake white liberal organizations that claim that they care for our people in the city. They should be beating Frank Conaway to the court tomorrow to file a injunction to say, if Baltimore County's not paying this, if Carroll County's not paying this, if Anne Arundel County's not paying this, if Howard County and these other counties that's getting their water from the city, if they're not paying these kind of rates, why should our people have to pay these kind? Everybody pays the same rate going through the toll, unless you got an easy pass. So if they got to pay the same rate, nobody else gets off just because I got a friendly, cold relationship with the mayor, and we're going to stick it to the majority of the citizens in the city, black, brown, red, yellow, and white, until they maybe uproot and move up out the city, man.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's not our obligation to take care of the debts that they created.
That's right.
And, we're not going to do that.
Yes.
And so just like these human rights groups want to talk about,
the NGOs.
Interfering in the internal affairs, of other nations. Well, this is an interference in the internal affairs of our livelihood, of our lifestyle.
That's right.
Drive down any street and we see the disparity. We see that there's something wrong with it. And no, it is not our fault.
That's right.
This is a policy that has taken place since, I would say that it started right after the ending of the Civil Rights Movement. Then was the decision to do this.
That's right.
So if she says, I don't have the luxury to vote no on that,
why not?
Why not?
Why not? Right. If you work for us. But if she's working for somebody else, then clearly we know that she can't vote against this because it's to benefit them. Let me take a few of these calls so we go a little deeper into the show, all right?
Okay.
And callers, you got to be quick, got to be brief so that we can bring in some more callers on this Independence Day. We may have to secede from Baltimore, brother. Around the nation, you got states seceding from the United States. We may have to have that conversation, man. We may have to put together a nice little amoeba or organization of groups and citizens to say perhaps we should secede. If we can't get what's ours in this city, maybe we ought to have a secession movement in the city of Baltimore.
I'm willing to have that conversation.
So let me come to the line. That's what an independent do. That's what an independent people and independent-minded people would do, and understanding that if you're going to be a patriot and you're going to talk about these principles of freedom, then with freedom comes a responsibility in terms of, again, the men, women, and children to take their destiny into their hands. Whenever you got a government that's not being for the people, by the people, and of the people, Constitution says you got a right to throw off that government. You got a right to throw off that government and set up your own government. So let me come to the line and talk to some of the patriots out there. Good afternoon, caller. You on the state of the city.
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Muhammad.
Wa alaikum salam, brother. Thoughts and comments?
May the peace and blessing of Allah forever be upon you and your guests, brother.
Thank you. And to you, brother.
Brother, I did understand that Frank Conaway, the chief clerk of the court, did make a statement on the airwaves this morning that they cut his water off to his house.
Well, he got
that's very disrespectful.
Yeah, it is,
he
brother.
He stated that himself.
Yeah, well, he gotta. With all of my love and respect for him, he just need to stop being so kind and start treating her like they treat him and treat his family, brother. You understand? Because nice guys in this town, they don't finish last, but they will lay you down as a nice guy in this town. If he haven't seen what happened to the nice guys in this town, they destroyed them or they run them out of this town, brother. So he got to stand up and just be a little stronger, and perhaps he got to do some guerrilla warfare type tactics. If they cut your water off, you better know where your water gets cut on at, and I ain't telling you to go to do it, but you better know somebody else that do know how to cut some water on. Same thing with your electricity. If they're not cutting the water on for the animals at the zoo or off for the animals at the zoo and the animals at the aquarium, then don't let them treat our people that way. So again, but it's going to take those of us that's willing to do those kind of tactics, and we won't talk about them on the air. We talk about them off air, all right?
I'll stand behind everyone that's going to rally behind those issues, brother, and I'm with you.
Appreciate you, brother. All right?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. We'll take more of your calls. Good afternoon, caller. You on the State of the City. Turn your radio down a little now. Come on. Yes, sir. Turn your radio down. Give you one more time.
I appreciate everything that you're talking about, and I'm fully in footstep with your analogy and the perspective that you put out.
Yes.
I just want the audience to know, Brother Dunn and your caller, remember what Jesse McDade warned us about back in the 80s.
Yes.
On the Trump about these quasi-public corporations.
Come on, brother. That's what they pushing.
Coming in here and running these cities, and he had warned you about shaping his power and putting
That's right.
those guys.
That's right. That's right.
And they'll come full circle.
That's right.
In the face of Fume,
right,
Reverend Reed,
right,
all these so-called black leaders in this city.
That's right.
They'll come in and, like you said, they done walked over them.
That's right.
And put them to sleep.
That's right, brother. They back on the plantation, some of them.
Being in this situation that we're in right now.
All right. Appreciate you checking in. All right?
Okay.
All right, let me take some more of these calls. But clearly, this is nothing but fascism, man. Fascism in a skirt or fascism in a shirt. We don't want it at all. You can have lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. If they fascists, we don't want them as well. So they can't come in and talk about equality, and they pushing the same agenda that your mayor and your governor and others who are pushing, who have hijacked the Democratic Party and democratic principles, and you have corporations that have merged with the state and the government, so you don't know where the corporation ends and the government begins, or we don't know where the government ends and the corporations begin, because they're one and the same right now. With that, let me come back to the lines, 410-761-1592. Good afternoon, caller. You on the State of the City.
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Durham.
Yes, sir. Wa alaikum salam, brother. Thoughts, comments?
Yeah, I can't believe this is. You see how she talked. I can't believe we got this mess like this representing us in Baltimore. So we got to be the laughing state of the United States.
Yes, sir. He had a laughing stock, laughing flock, and maybe some awe and shock of the United States. They had this one sitting down there in City Hall looking like an imitation of life. When she got down there, she was a black woman. She was dark as you, brother. You see her now? Somebody better tell her. I want to send her a dummy's guide for Baltimore. You know what I mean? Because she just found East Baltimore. They had a new visitor from out of town 2 days ago over there in East Baltimore. Her name was Stephanie Rollins. But I like to send her one of them old Borders and Barnes and Noble's books, but she probably can't read. I gotta send it to her on her Blackberries, man. A dummy's guide for learning and navigating Baltimore, brother. But please continue.
Yes, sir. You know, like the brother was saying a few moments ago, you know, she's in our way, and we got to move her out of our way.
Yes, sir.
I'm talking about political wise.
Yes, sir. Right.
You know,
okay. Right.
She has to go.
I agree, brother.
You know,
her and the rest of them that think like her has to go, brother. All right.
Yes,
appreciate you checking in.
Have a good day.
All right, you do the same. We'll take a few more calls, and then we're gonna get back into the show in the flow. Good afternoon, caller. You on the State of the City?
Good afternoon. Wait a minute. I think maybe people have selective loss of memory.
Yeah, we call it amnegronesia.
You're right.
Yes,
because, okay, the whole mess of the water bills was because she had a contractor that was charging the wrong amount.
That's right.
And so that was fraudulent on how they were trying to take the people's homes the first time.
Right.
And, of course, you brought it to attention. And, of course, that put a stop to that.
Right.
So now she's talking about a city manager, emergency city manager, but that's the same tool that they used against Washington, D.C.
That's right.
And we see what has happened to Washington, D.C.,
right,
where that people oppress people. And now the city is no longer a majority
chocolate
black.
City, no longer chocolate city. Neapolitan or metropolitan or whatever they want to call it. Yes,
right.
ma'am. Right.
So in this, what you just said about as far as to put in place injunction, there should be many organizations to put one in place for that.
That's right.
Because what she is talking about now is not only just for that the oppressed people come under attack, but just the new plant.
That's right.
People that in Baltimore will be coming in under attack on that.
That's right.
And so especially since she could not handle with the problem of, and even though it was with the schools, but with the lead in the school, which
That's
of
right.
course,
That's right.
her as mayor,
Right.
the governor, are all have responsibility of that.
Yes.
Should be injunctions and even letters being written about that, because this basically is calling for, and I'm saying this right now, and people need to harp on this. And this should be included as for those that are marching out for that 300-man march and anything further. There should be further as far as to remove her out of office.
That's right.
Because of her fraudulent use of the law that she has done in the city.
It is fraud. It is fraud. All right. Thank you, sister. Got to let you go. Of course, we'll get back into more tomorrow. All right?
Okay, give thanks.
All right, give thanks. Peace. Yes, she should be charged with fraud, crimes, omission, commission, and she has that fiduciary responsibility. And, of course, this is what a state special prosecutor would be investigating. This is what, again, a real state's attorney would be investigating. What a real U.S. attorney should be investigating are these type of serious crimes, not some tow truck kickback schemes. But, yes, sir, you wanted to say something, my brother?
Yeah, well, in Egypt, you had a million of its people who went out on the streets and demanded
Arab Spring. Yes, sir.
The Arab Spring.
So where are we? They occupying in the squares and the malls in the east and in the west, and we over here shopping at the malls, huh?
Shopping.
Yes, sir. We shopping, brother.
Them.
Looking for the 4th of July sale.
Just like you said, with that march, let's go downtown.
Go downtown. Take it downtown. Yes, sir. That's right. So, and let me go ahead. I'm sorry. What do you want to say? Because I'm going to go to this clip talking about the enemies of the state. Because the real patriots, of course, are being labeled as the enemies of the state. Listen to this clip, and then we're coming back to more of the state of the city before we begin to wrap up. Listen to this, and we'll be back with more of the state of the city.
Let's go in there and get them.
I call it the jar. No phone or utility lines coming in. Self-contained, unplugged from the world. Nothing for a wire bug to piggyback in on. That leaves only transmitters. It's easy enough to signal sweep for those.
Signal sweeping for transmitters. You're just a party animal.
See, the government's been in bed with the entire telecommunications industry since the 40s. They've infected everything. They can get into your bank statements, your computer files, your email, listen to your phone calls.
My wife's been saying that for years.
Every wire, every airwave. The more technology you use, the easier it is for them to keep tabs on you. It's a brave new world out there. At least it better be. There it goes. It's some kind of simple encryption.
Oh, conspiracy theorists of the world unite.
Well, it's more than a theory with me. I'm a former conspirer. Yeah, I used to work for the NSA. I was a communication analyst. Listened to international calls from foreign nationals. A GPS tracking device we found in your cellular telephone. I designed one of the first models in that series. Fort Meade has 18 acres of mainframe computers underground. You're talking to your wife on the phone, you use the word bomb, president, Allah, any of 100 keywords. The computer recognizes it, automatically records it, red flags it for analysis. That was 20 years ago. You know the Hubble telescope looks up at the stars? They've got over 100 spy satellites looking down at us. That's classified. In the old days, we actually had to tap a wire into your phone line. Now with calls bouncing off satellites, they snatch them right out of the air. What's this?
Welcome back. You listen to the state of the city. Of course, that was a clip from the movie Enemy of the State. And clearly, we're living in a time now where the real patriots are being labeled as the enemies of the state inside of the United States of America. And you heard him talking about, again, Fort Meade and, of course, NSA and much more. I'll come back on another day and give you more of that so that you'll understand where we are in terms of 2013 in America and the realities of where this country has drifted. But let me come back to the line, take a few more of your calls, and get back into our conversation with my brothers. We're talking about, again, the issue of Independence Day, patriotism, and much more. Thoughts and comments on what you just heard with that clip, brothers. We're talking about the Patriots and how, not the football Patriots, not Ern Hernandez, heaven knows, but the fact that the Patriots are now being labeled as the anti-Americans and, of course, being labeled as almost terrorists inside of the country right now because they dare to speak out and dare to tell the truth regarding what is taking place from